Another welcome to Prime Sports with me, Razak Musbau. And tonight's edition is a special one because tonight the transfer window closes in Europe. It's the general transfer window, and of course, a lot of teams are scrambling, trying to get final details of their deals that they've secured done. Chelsea is buzzing, hoping to get the deal with Benfica done on Enzo Fernandez. Of course, Manchester United have also been able to secure a Bayern Munich midfielder. We'll bring you up to speed on that. Latest is Ghana's captain, Andre Ayew, who we understand Everton are in talks with him to try and get him to the English Premier League. But what is the situation for most Ghanaian players as far as this January transfer window is concerned? And that's what we're going to take a look at now. And you can see Antoine Semenyo, he's the one leading the pack as far as Ghanaian players abroad are concerned and the transfer they've secured. He got a move to AFC Bournemouth from Bristol City. Bournemouth have kept tabs on him for a very long time, and finally they got their man in an attempt to try and escape relegation. Is that going to work out for them? We'll wait to see. And of course, the man Kamaldeen Suleiman. Earlier in the day, we got reported that Southampton have agreed a deal worth 20 million euros with Stade Rennais, the French side, to get Kamaldeen, the 20-year-old. Of course, Southampton themselves are lying bottom of the English Premier League table and are doing everything they can to try and escape it. And this man is the one they believe can help them to escape that relegation. So he's moving to the English Premier League to join his brother Antoine Semenyo and, of course, Jordan Ayew, Jeffrey Schlupp, Leicester City's Daniel Amate, Ghanaian players in the English Premier League, and Kamaldeen is looking to do that. We expect that deal to be finalized before the window closes tonight at 11 p.m. Also, is this chap, Nathan Poku. He is based in the United States of America, and Leicester City snapped him out of nowhere, 19 years of age, but despite Leicester City snapping him, he has been loaned to OL Leuven there. And of course, you can see another man is Emmanuel Toku. This is an interesting chap because he's played for Ghana's under 17 side and pretty much under 20 side. Is one player that a lot of people within the Ghanaian space are very familiar with. He started his career with Cheetah FC, and good to see him rise all the way. And now he's moving to OH Leuven there from Botev Plovin. This is in the Bulgarian league. So it's pretty some good one for him. Kwabena Owusu, of course, remember this chap. He's played for the Black Stars before, had some great pace. Well, he's moving from Karabakh FK to Ferencváros over there, and it's pretty some good deal for him. 2.5 years he signed, and he's hoping to try and help them win the league. That's what he said after the signing. And of course, Samuel Obane is another one. Real Oviedo to SD Huesca on loan, and will be helping the Spanish side there. Also, Fiacqua, interesting, isn't it? Of course, a lot of you remember Fiacqua. He got into some controversy with Jordan Ayew, so of course, that's an interesting one. But major player in the Black Star squad some years back, and all of a sudden he went missing. The last time he was with Al Batin in the Saudi Arabian League, and guess what? Well, he became a free agent, and now he's at Uwa Al Jawiya. Guess which country that is? In Iraq. That's where he is now. Interesting, isn't it? For Fiacqua, played for Torino in the Italian Serie A and now plying his trade in Iraq. Well, when you eclipse in your career, sometimes that's where you end up. But David Abagana Sandam is another interesting move. He was with Real Tamil United, the Ghana Premier League side. Had a fantastic time at the Chan tournament where he won man of the match. And fortunate for him, he got a deal with Al Hilal, the Sudanese side. Very good for him. Another man is this man here, Efria Banin, of course, with a cry to folk. Probably the face of the Ghana Premier League last season, thereabout. The captain of the under 20 side and also the captain of the Black Galazis. He secured a deal from Accra to folk to FC Zurich in Europe there for him. Pretty good deal for him. Of course, a lot of people saw it coming. So Efria Banin in the general transfer window. Andre Ayew, this is the big question. This is a big question. The rumors is that he's moving to Everton after he terminated his contract with Al Sadd in the Qatari league there. Very, very shocking news we got relative to his. So is he going to go to Everton or, as rumored again, move to Marseille in the French league? We wait to see there. But these are the top signings. And of course, we're talking about Chelsea because they are the ones who have spent so much money in this general transfer window. Spent so much. In excess of 300 million euros, we understand they've spent to get these players. All right? Now, interesting, isn't it? From Shakhtar Donetsk, they got him. Mikhail Mudryk, exciting player, isn't it? Andre Santos from Vasco da Gama, they got him from Brazil. David Diatro Fofana, he joined from Molde. And he talked about AS Monaco's Benoit Badièche, and of course, Noni Madueke and Malo Gusto and João Félix was also joined on loan. Big business Chelsea has been engaging in this transfer window. Of course, you understand their situation. They are lying 10th on the Premier League table. They want to play Champions League football, and they need players. And they've signed so many, as many as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You can see that's about 7 signings, and they're chasing Enzo Fernandez. We'll try and discuss that. Are they going to get him? Because at the moment, Chelsea have not secured that deal. What is happening again as far as the big deals this January is concerned? It's Cristiano Ronaldo who's leading the pack. Terminated his contract with Manchester United and found himself in Saudi Arabia of all places. Al Nassr, that's where the GOAT, as some people call him, is playing his street. And of course, we want to talk about Cody Gakpo, who moved from PSV to Liverpool. And Liverpool, pretty much the only signing they did in January. And Klopp says, well, he's okay, he has no problem. And the team is very fine. Wait to see if they are indeed fine. Weghorst, also from Burnley to Manchester United on loan, scored his first goal just this weekend. And of course, Daley Blind, he moved from Ajax, unattached, went to Bayern Munich. Interesting signing for Bayern Munich there. Of course, Anthony Gordon, who moved from Everton, 40 million. Newcastle had to pay to get him from Everton, Anthony Gordon there. Of course, Leandro Trossard, we know the situation with him. He had some issues with Zerbi of Brighton coach, so had to move to Arsenal. And you also see Danny Ings, who made a sensational move from Aston Villa to West Ham. Interesting. Not many saw that coming. Of course, João Cancelo, that's a big one. João Cancelo moving from Manchester City to Bayern Munich. We understand the main reason why he moved because he appeared to have fallen out with Pep Guardiola. And of course, he also, after picking up the injury, he struggled to pick form. And so, you know, Rico Luis was chosen ahead of him. And of course, he felt unhappy and had to move to Bayern Munich. So João Cancelo moving to Bayern Munich. Hakim Ziyech to Paris Saint-Germain. We understand this deal will be completed before the transfer window closes tonight. And this one here is the one that has got a lot of people wondering. What happened? Chelsea, why have you let him go? Jorginho to Arsenal. Did you see that coming in the January transfer window? Nobody saw it come, but Arsenal have gotten Jorginho. They've announced the deal is completely done, and Jorginho is moving to Arsenal. For the Chelsea fans, I don't know what you think, but you can join the conversation. #JoyDeadlineDay and tweet at us at Joy Sports, or you can tweet at me at Razak Musbau. I have Fifi Manfred and also have Nicholas Forsen, who are going to help me do a bit of analysis on these issues. And of course, starting with the big one, because that's what everybody is talking about. Why is the deal between Chelsea and Benfica on Enzo Fernandez stalling? But before that, Fifi Manfred, thank you for joining us. If I can just check on your sound. Great. Fifi, I mean, it's about the moves that Ghanaian players have made. But let me just get to, so Fifi, I'll get Fifi back. But let me get to Nicholas now. Nick, good to see you. Good to see you. But interesting moves by Ghanaian players. Antoine Semenyo, Kamal Dean. I'm sure you're definitely going to spend time on the free aqua to Iraq. But let's talk about Antoine Semenyo and Kamal Dean. Very interesting moves for them in the English Premier League.
Yeah, interesting. And I mean, we all know how exciting the Premier League is to watch. I mean, it's the league, they call it the best league in the world. That's left out to jury. Everyone likes their style of football. But I feel that it's a bonus to have so many guys in the Black Stars playing in the Premier League because everyone seems to enjoy the Premier League, gets access to watch it. My particular interest is in, Kamaldeen Sulemana. This is a guy who we've been waiting a long period to set the world alight because we know the kind of skill he possesses, the kind of ability and the potential he has. I'm just a bit worried about the team he's moving to. Yeah. Personally, I feel he should have. I think they had 2 bids accepted from Everton and Southampton. These are both teams who are actually in trouble in the league. Yeah. But I would have preferred him to move to Everton because I feel that, interestingly enough, even though they just fired Frank Lampard and brought in Sean Dyche, this is a guy who's experienced in the Premier League and knows how to keep steam in the Premier League. When you look at Southampton, even if they had Hasenhuttl in the picture, I was still a bit skeptical because they bought too many youngsters and there's so much change going on at the club. So I feel that there's a bit of this harmony in Southampton. And the coach they brought into is known as a top coach in the Championship and League One. He doesn't have any Premier League experience. So I have a feeling that he would have been better served by joining Everton. It's a good move. It's actually a club record move. It shows how highly rated he is.
They're pretty desperate.
I feel that he would have been better served by joining Everton. But I hope that, there's also word that Southampton are also going for the giant Nigerian striker, Paul Onuachu. He's been prolific for the last 5-6 years in the Belgian league, always coming up with at least 30 goals a season in all competitions. He's 6'7", so you can imagine he has the stature of Peter Crouch.
Yeah.
So this is a Nigerian striker who's also being, sought after to augment the Southampton squad. So I'm hoping that with the likes of Salisu being there, the quality of Ward Prowse and his deliveries, when you have a tall giant striker who's prolific like Paul Onuachu.
Yeah, they might just be able to. They might just be able to escape relegation. They're interesting. Let me just get Fifi. Great. Let me just get Fifi on.
Sulemana on the wings. I think it's going to push them to a higher level.
Interesting. Let me get Fifi now. Fifi, interesting. Well, of course, spoken extensively about Antoine Semenyo. He's moved to Bournemouth. Good for him. And even as far as the profiling of the Black Stars players is concerned. Just a quick bite on that. And I want you to tie it in on Everton, who we understand are chasing Black Stars captain Andre Dede Ayew. Do you think if the deal is presented to Dede Ayew, maybe just jump onto it, Everton, back to the English Premier League?
Well, thank you very much, Musbau. First of all, for the Dede Ayew issue, I think it's an exciting one. I think Andre Dede Ayew would relish a move back into the English Premier League, in as much as Everton are struggling. It's a club that if he gets into, he knows that he can fight for something. What he'll be fighting for is to make sure the club stays in the league. For me, Sean Dyche is a very experienced manager in the English Premier League today. I've already seen pictures of how he's drilling his Everton players to make sure they are fit enough to play his football. Andre Dede Ayew's experience spanning a long career through his days from League One to the English Premier League with Swansea and even in the Championship. And of course, back again with West Ham United until he left for the Qatari League. So he comes with a lot of experience. Coming back into the English Premier League will give him a lot of exposure at his age. He gets to play in the English Premier League. He gets to play at a very high-paced league. He gets to help the team with a lot of experience. So, yes, it's going to be good for him, and I think it's going to be a very good one for Everton as well. On the part of Antoine Semenyo, like I said, he's a player that Bournemouth needed badly. Bournemouth need goals. And for a team that creates some very good chances, had some very good XGs since the sacking of Scott Parker, they needed to make sure that he, as a player, once they create those chances, they are going to get a striker who bang in the goals. And I think Antoine Semenyo is the man. He does the job so well. He's young and energetic, so he can also lead the press from the front for this young Bournemouth side. So it's a good one for Ghana. It's a good one for Semenyo. And I think it's an even more exciting one for Captain Andre Dede Ayew. We've had a lot of conversation about how and why our captain was playing the Qatari League for the very first time. It looks like he'll be getting back to, for want of a better word, proper mainstream football.
That's true.
Yeah,
interesting. Now let's get to some club transfers now. Of course, big one that just got wrapped up is Jorginho to Arsenal, from Chelsea to Arsenal. Nick, of course, I know you're an Arsenal fan. I mean, tell me, 31-year-old Jorginho, why do you need him at Arsenal?
Musbau, let me be honest with you. I wasn't very enthused from the start because we saw the level of player we were going for in Caicedo. I mean, that's a player that, sparks so much excitement and bedlam amongst the Arsenal fans. But after a thorough analysis, I was actually traveling today, so I had a lot of time to be on my phone, go through the transfers, go through the metrics, take my time and study a lot of things. And look, you see, I personally have been complaining that for us to challenge for the league, Arsenal started this season with the top four as a target. But along as the league has progressed, we've had to change objectives at the end of the season because we are performing better than we thought we would. So obviously, some of your transfers would have to change because we didn't have a squad built to win the Premier League. Now, in the middle of the season, when we are doing so well, you have to consider what is at stake at the end of the season. And we are in such a wonderful position. So many teams will buy this position we find ourselves in. So I look at that, and I kept complaining that I don't have a problem with our first team, especially in midfield. And we all know the issues our guy has had in midfield, Thomas Partey, his injury issues. Thankfully, this season has not been there. But even now, as I'm talking to you, he had a small rib issue in the last game we played. So there's always some worry amongst Arsenal fans that, owing to the fact that Partey is so important, he's a pivot of our team. If we lose Partey in particular, it's going to be, I mean, if you literally consider the only league match we won this season was without Partey. The only half of football we lost I mean, against Manchester City, it was the second half we lost the game, and Partey wasn't even there. I'm not saying one tree makes a forest, but it shows how important he is to Arteta's system and the process. So we needed someone with so much experience. I personally saw Caicedo as someone who plays as a box-to-box guy, the role that Xhaka plays. So I had my problems with Jorginho. I was judging him. In fact, I was quite the vocal critic of this. I was always saying with Italy, Barella was the main guy. It wasn't even him. But when you look at his stats, when you look at his metrics, what he brings, he's a metronomic passer. I mean, you can't doubt that.
I mean,
he's so much. Has so much composure.
I mean, I was looking at the comparison between him and Thomas Partey, the numbers that Sky Sports put up.
I'm sure some of
incredible.
Those surprised a lot of us.
Absolutely.
When we saw the interceptions, the number of tackles, the number of passes per game.
Yeah.
I call him after reading so much and doing so much analysis today, I call him a press-resistant machine.
Absolutely.
He's defined that role in a way. What he lacks in strength, he brings on by bringing so much composure, leadership. Look, you look at Casemiro moving to Manchester United, and he's being hailed as the best DM in the world at this point in time.
Yeah.
He's the same age as Jorginho, and we're talking about a player who was in the top 10 of the Ballon d'Or a couple of years ago.
Absolutely.
So I feel that, all in all, if you give me the chance, I won't stop talking, but let me just round up.
All right,
I feel that, all in all, when you consider what Jorginho brings, the experience, we've seen the winning mentality that Gabriel Jesus and Zinchenko have brought into this young Arsenal squad. Now that we have,
a Champions League
Jorginho
winner,
also be a winner.
Yeah, World Cup winner. A club World Cup winner. That's what you say. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
The last thing I'm going to say is we needed someone to be an upgrade on El Neni. So when Partey is not available, we have such a quality player play.
Interesting.
So
now,
let me just get something straight. He's not going to come to Arsenal as a starter for now. But this is someone I can trust in the absence of Partey to perform.
Interesting. Now, let me bring Fifi in now.
Honest,
Fifi,
I'm very happy with that deal.
I mean, Fifi, it's, the other conversation is that move. Okay, right, we'll try and reconnect to Fifi now. But, well, Nick, let me stay with you because, all right, great. FIFA, thanks. The network seems to be holding us. Great. Now, Fifi, interesting is the decision by Pep Guardiola to allow João Cancelo leave because the numbers are clear. João Cancelo is very, very, very productive for that Manchester City setup. Provides assists, does a lot of groundwork that helps Manchester City players to be able to, that helps to get the best out of some other Manchester City players. So why will Pep Guardiola, even if you have personal issues with him, why will you let João Cancelo leave to Bayern Munich? I mean, understand that deal has been sorted. He even started training at Bayern Munich.
Musbau, if you look at Pep Guardiola and how far he has come as a manager, he has come this far off the back of not really massaging egos. Pep Guardiola has been brutal when it comes to dealing with his players. Even if you give him the best of numbers and he feels that you can't do it, at some point he feels that your ego is probably getting the better of you. He will want to make sure that you are out of the team. If you look at the numbers of João Cancelo, he has played the most minutes for Man City, and second is only Manuel Akanji. He has only suffered in terms of minutes since the World Cup, and we all know that Cancelo did not have the best of World Cups. Since the return from the World Cup, young Rico Lewis has played very well for Man City, so maybe you think that's why Pep Guardiola wants to give the young boys some time. Maybe Cancelo also feels like he's a senior player and he needs to play in the game. But then again, you can't take anything away from Cancelo. He has been very exciting. I mean, we speak about fullbacks who have been able to create from the left and right half spaces, creating from out wide, and making sure that they assist and even score goals for themselves. And João Cancelo has been at the top there with everybody. Himself, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Reece James, Alphonso Davies have been very, very exciting at this job. So, of course, it came as a surprise to everybody. But you will never be shocked if you know the story of Pep Guardiola, who thinks that it's about a team for him, one, and no matter how good you are. Maybe the only person that Pep Guardiola will revise his notes for is a certain Lionel Messi. And he doesn't even have him at Manchester City. So, yes, Cancelo is an exciting player, but Guardiola thinks that, you know what, the team will always come first, and he wants him to leave. But sadly so, but unless you are a fan of the German Bundesliga, you're not going to see Cancelo again in the English Premier League.
I'm interested. Now, let's get to the big one, because that's what everybody's waiting to hear. It's finally completed. Or Chelsea, and all their owners bringing their jet back to England without their own player, Enzo Fernandez. Fifi, Tell me, what's the latest on it? Because we understand about 2 hours ago we heard that he's undertaking medical while the owners of the club engage in long negotiations to try and get the deal done. The point really is, why is this deal dragging? What have you picked up to be the reason why Chelsea are unable to just seal it? Like they did with Noni Madueke, like they did with Mudryk. What's happening?
So I think that for us to really appreciate what is going on, we need to go back into history a little bit. In the past, Benfica has always been a selling club, but it was even worse in the past before Rui Costa took over. Benfica is like a traditional club, like say in Ghana we say Kumasi and Kotoko. And fans always came at presidents, at CEOs who were just letting their players go. And one of the reasons why Benfica are in a very strong position is that a lot of the big clubs in Europe, like Chelsea and the likes, always want to avert risk. So they don't go to South America to get the best players. Benfica think that they've done the best scouting to get Enzo Fernandez. He has won the World Cup. He's a young player. Benfica have not won the league since 2019. They are top of the Portuguese league now. They are still in the Champions League. They qualified alongside PSG in a very tough group, which included Juventus. So they think that they're in a very good position to even compete with Chelsea. So letting the young Argentine World Cup winner go to Chelsea, they feel like they are going to arm a direct rival in the Champions League.
Interesting, Fifi.
Let the young man go this year.
Interesting, Fifi. Nick, final thoughts. Do you expect Chelsea to get a deal done? Nick, do you expect Chelsea to get Enzo Fernandez before the deadline closes?
I think they are going to be able to get it across the line. What I think is the problem is, the problem with transfer, when there's a release clause is you have to pay the whole amount in a lump sum. And Chelsea, so people are asking me that if he's worth 105 million pounds or 120 million euros, why is Chelsea paying 115 million pounds? Now, Chelsea are trying to do that because they want to beat FFP. So they want to structure the payment such that they can pay, yes, more than what the player is worth over a period of time so that they don't fall foul of FFP.
Yeah.
Benfica, as Fifi rightly said, are trying to get back to the top of Europe, like, the upper echelons of European football. And they are almost there when you consider the squad. We saw the young Portuguese striker at the World Cup, Gonçalo Ramos. Yeah. They're keeping the core of their team. They have a brilliant squad, a brilliant spine. And Enzo Fernandez is the pivot, as I call it again, in that team. He won the best young player at the World Cup. So if there wasn't a release clause of 120 million euros, he won't be sold. That is a reference Chelsea are using now. Now, because they are trying to beat the FFP, they have to negotiate in such a way that it will appeal to Benfica. Yes, they are paying more than it, but probably they are paying over a course of maybe 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
So I think there's enough time. I think there's about an hour or so more, or 2 hours more, till the end of the window. I think Chelsea, they've shown their muscle in this transfer window. I'm an Arsenal fan, so I know what I'm saying. I know what they did to us concerning Mudryk.
Oh yes.
Toboli and Egbali are prepared to throw the cash. I think it's going to go through.
Guys,
normally when there's a transfer going on and medicals have started going on, you know that the finish line is very close.
All right, guys, thanks so much. Well, the conversation continues on Joy Sports Twitter space, Twitter page. We're having a space there right about now, so you want to head there and be part of the conversation. Joy Deadline Day, but as Joy Sports. My name is Razak Musbau, and thanks so much for being a part of this. Up next, SPM Express.